Fore, the universal warning cry of golfers everywhere, signaling an errant ball flying through the air. It's a word that can make hearts race and heads duck, a sound that echoes across the manicured greens and fairways of golf courses around the world. On the green and in the red. A phrase that captures the duality of our story today. The lush, serene greens of a golf course juxtaposed with the harsh, unforgiving red of financial loss. It's a tale of sport and scandal, of leisure and looming danger. Picture it, Florida, September 15, 2024. The sun is shining, the grass is perfectly trimmed, and the air is filled with the quiet hum of golf carts and the occasional thwack of a well-hit ball. It's a day like any other at one of the many golf courses that dot the Sunshine State. Trump's at his golf course, probably cheating anyway. The former president, known for his love of the game and his less than stellar reputation for honesty, is out on the links. He's surrounded by his usual entourage, a mix of Secret Service agents, aides, and a few select friends. Suddenly, Secret Service tackles a guy near the fairway. The peaceful scene is shattered as agents spring into action, their training kicking in as they move to neutralize a potential threat. Golfers and spectators alike are left in stunned silence, their leisurely day interrupted by a burst of adrenaline and confusion. Turns out he wasn't there to caddy. The man dressed in casual golf attire is quickly identified and subdued. He's not a caddy, not a golfer, but someone with a far more sinister purpose. Ryan Wesley Routh, small-time contractor, big-time Trump critic, was caught with a rifle. Routh, a man with a grudge and a plan, had managed to get dangerously close to the former president. His intentions, while not fully clear, were undoubtedly malicious. Apparently he prefers birdies of the feathered kind. Routh's social media, a treasure trove of anti-Trump rhetoric and support for various progressive causes. His posts paint a picture of a man deeply disillusioned with the current state of American politics. Let's just say he's a fan of Zelensky, not so much the guy who wanted to be best buds with Putin. Routh's admiration for the Ukrainian president and his disdain for Trump's foreign policy decisions are evident in his online activity. Irony is, Trump's handicap might have saved him. In a twist of fate, the former president's less-than-perfect golf skills may have kept him out of harm's way. A poorly aimed shot, a moment of distraction, and the course of events could have been very different. This is America, folks, where you're more likely to get shot by a disgruntled contractor than a foreign power. It's a sobering thought, a reflection on the state of a nation where internal strife and personal vendettas can pose as much of a threat as any external enemy. The green of the golf course and the red of financial and political turmoil, forever intertwined in this uniquely American tale. So who is this Ryan Wesley Routh? He's not your typical Hawaiian. Think less surfing, more, well, we don't know yet, but the guy's got a construction business. Maybe he was just having a really bad day on the job. First the drywall went up crooked, then, I missed my shot at Trump. The FBI is all over this, digging through his browser history as we speak. Did he visit Parler? Was he radicalized by cat videos? The possibilities are endless. One thing's for sure, Ruth's about to get very familiar with the inside of a courtroom. The feds are treating this like it's the Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. They're combing through every angry Yelp review Routh ever wrote, looking for clues. Did he blame Trump for the price of lumber? Was he upset about Melania's Christmas decorations? We need answers. Meanwhile, Twitter is having a field day. #Trump assassination attempt is trending, obviously. Half the tweets are conspiracy theories, the other half are bad jokes. It's enough to make you long for the days when the biggest political scandal was Monica Lewinsky's blue dress. You know Trump couldn't resist chiming in. He's been surprisingly quiet about the whole almost getting murdered thing, but he did manage to squeeze in a few jabs at Biden. Sleepy Joe couldn't hit a golf ball, let alone stop an assassination attempt, he tweeted. Stay classy, Donald. He also used the opportunity to plug his new book, The Art of the Dodge: How I Survived 2 Impeachments, a Pandemic, and a Golf Course Sniper. Subtle. It's like he thinks this whole thing is just a publicity stunt. To be fair, with Trump, it's hard to tell sometimes. Section 5. Uncle Joe calls for calm, let's not get trigger happy, folks. Biden, ever the voice of reason, or at least the closest thing we've got these days, urged everyone to chill. Violence is never the answer, he said, probably while sipping chamomile tea. He also reminded everyone that even if you disagree with someone, you shouldn't try to shoot them. Good advice, Joe. Of course, his calls for unity fell on deaf ears. The internet is forever a dumpster fire, And no amount of presidential pleading can change that. At least Biden tried. It's more than we can say for some people. Ted Cruz. Section 6. Media frenzy. MSNBC sees red, CNN sees ratings. The news channels are in overdrive as per usual. The 24-hour news cycle never sleeps, and today is no exception. With every passing hour, the urgency in their voices grows, the graphics become more dramatic, and the headlines more sensational. It's a race to capture the audience's attention, and no one wants to be left behind. MSNBC is convinced this is the beginning of the end of democracy. Their anchors' faces etched with concern and urgency. They bring in experts, analysts, and political commentators to dissect every angle, every possible repercussion. The tone is grave, the stakes are high, and the message is clear. This is a pivotal moment in history. Meanwhile, CNN is just happy to have something to talk about besides the Kardashians. Their coverage is more varied, mixing serious news with lighter segments. They bring in celebrity guests, run human interest stories, and occasionally, a bit of humor to lighten the mood. It's a balancing act, keeping the audience informed, while also keeping them entertained. Fox News is blaming it on Antifa because of course they are. Their narrative is clear and consistent, tapping into their audience's fears and frustrations. They bring in pundits who echo their sentiments, creating an echo chamber of outrage and indignation. It's a strategy that has worked for them in the past, and they see no reason to change it now. Pundits are busy debating the motives, the implications, and the potential fallout. They argue passionately, each trying to outdo the other with their insights and predictions. It's a spectacle in itself, a theater of opinions where the loudest voice often wins. They even discuss the best kind of bulletproof vest to wear on a golf course, a bizarre yet oddly fitting metaphor for the times we live in. It's a mix of the absurd and the serious, reflecting the unpredictable nature of the current news landscape. It's enough to make you want to unplug your TV, to escape the constant barrage of information and opinions. The relentless pace can be overwhelming, leaving you feeling more anxious than informed. You might even dream of moving to a cabin in the woods, away from the noise and chaos, a place where you can find peace and quiet, far from the madding crowd. Living off the grid, relying on solar panels and sustainable living, seems like an appealing alternative. It's a simpler life, free from the constant connectivity and the pressures of modern society. But then you'd miss all the drama, the unfolding stories that captivate and entertain. The news, for all its flaws, is a window into the world, a way to stay connected and informed. And what's the point of being an American if you can't be entertained by the downfall of society? It's a darkly humorous take on our collective obsession with the news, a reminder that sometimes we watch not just to be informed, but to be entertained. Section 7, Secret Service, sweating. Time for some new hiring? You know who's not having a good day? The Secret Service. They're supposed to be the best of the best. The guys who can spot a threat from a mile away, even if it's disguised as a rogue golf ball. And yet somehow, a dude with a rifle got close enough to Trump to make them break a sweat. Heads are gonna roll. Congress is already demanding answers, and you know what that means. Hearings, investigations, and maybe, just maybe, some actual reform. Or, knowing our government, they'll just throw more money at the problem and hope it goes away. Section 8, Election Fallout. Will this be Trump's October surprise? As the election season heats up, every twist and turn becomes a potential game changer. The stakes are higher than ever, and the atmosphere is charged with anticipation and anxiety. It's an election year, baby. The air is thick with campaign slogans, promises, and the ever-present tension of what might come next. The energy at these rallies is palpable, with supporters donning campaign buttons and waving signs high in the air, hoping to catch a glimpse of their candidate. And you know what that means? Everything is political, even attempted murder. Every action, every word, every incident is scrutinized through the lens of political gain or loss. The debates are fierce, the ads relentless, each side trying to outdo the other in a bid for the public's favor. Trump's campaign is already spinning this as an attack on America, a sign that the radical left will stop at nothing to silence their opponents. The narrative is clear. This isn't just an attack on Trump, it's an attack on the very fabric of the nation. His supporters rally behind him, convinced that this is yet another attempt to undermine their chosen leader. Never mind that the guy was from Hawaii and ran a construction business. Details. The facts often get lost in the whirlwind of political rhetoric. The focus is on the story being told, not necessarily the truth behind it. The construction worker from Hawaii becomes a mere footnote in the grand narrative being woven. Will this help Trump's chances? Who knows? The polls are constantly shifting, and it's anyone's guess how this latest development will play out. Analysts pore over data, trying to predict the unpredictable. Voters line up, each with their own set of concerns and hopes for the future. This is America, where logic and reason went to die a long time ago. In the land of the free, the political landscape is often anything but logical. Emotions run high, and reason takes a back seat to passion and belief. The streets are filled with a diverse tapestry of people, each with their own story, their own perspective. Maybe voters will be sympathetic, maybe they'll be terrified. The reactions are as varied as the people themselves. Some watch the news with a sense of dread, others with a glimmer of hope. The uncertainty is palpable, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Or maybe they'll just be like, another day, another political scandal. Pass the popcorn. In a world where political scandals are a dime a dozen, it's easy to become desensitized. For some, it's just another chapter in the never-ending saga of American politics. They sit back, popcorn in hand, ready for the next twist in the tale.